right. Hello, everyone. Welcome back. I hope you've all had a lovely weekend. We have some coffee here, and we are ready to start into modding a little Unity game we made. For those of you who may not have seen the last stream, my name is Jillian Qualley. I am the learning content producer at Endless Studios, and my whole job is to make content that you guys can learn from in order to make games. And I'm super, super excited to be here as usual. Today, we are just going to do a very, very quick review of the things we covered on Thursday, like Unity install and all that. And then we are going to be looking online for some 3D models in order to start modding our kart racer game. Specifically, we are going to be changing the racers today specifically. That's the one thing, that is our one goal. Probably won't take that long. It's a pretty easy process if you know how to navigate the hierarchy, which again, I will show off again for you guys. And yeah, so I think I'm ready to get started. We are just going to start on the Unity homepage again, just so I can review how you get Unity going. And if you guys need any help with that, I will be more than willing to answer questions and walk you guys through it. But I think at this point, most people have Unity installed. So let's start at the website. Again, just for a little review, I already have Unity open in another tab, which I will switch over to in a little bit. But for now, we are just going to start here. So in order to get started with Unity, you just have to go to the website and get your personal license going. And that should be pretty much all you need to do to install Unity. So you just go to Get Started here. And it will open this all up, the plans and pricing. We are looking for student and hobbyist and personal. Get started with a free version of Unity. Again, if you need to refer back to what I've done before, you essentially just make a Unity ID with your email, username, and a password. You confirm your email address so you can actually install the program. And then you download for Windows or whatever program or whatever OS you may be using. This does run on Mac, and I think you can get it for Linux. You can do some magic there to get it working for Linux, but I'm obviously on Windows 10. And so, yeah, that's pretty much all you have to do to get started with Unity. You download the hub, which is just your gateway to all your projects. And then it'll automatically install whatever version of Unity you want. If I remember correctly, we are using version 2021.3.4 F1. So if you're going to follow along with me with the kart racer, make sure that is the version that you have. And yeah, if there are any questions again about getting Unity going, making a Unity ID, whatever it may be, that's all available to you. I'm willing to answer any question you have. And if you have any issues getting Unity, please let me know. Or Unity support is actually okay if you need it. So if you have a problem that I may not be able to answer, which is quite likely actually, then Unity support actually is pretty good. So ever encounter any issues with your version or your OS or anything like that, you can contact them as well. Also remember that there are Unity Learn tools here. I've never used them before because I learned Unity on my own, but they do have some standalone video tutorials on YouTube and on their website that help walk you through the UI and stuff if you guys aren't familiar with it. So I think with that being said, we're ready to look for some 3D models, which is very fun. This is where we are going to find models to incorporate into our game and make them our racers. There are some limitations though, which we're going to go over. But first, let me introduce the program or website we're going to be using to find those 3D models. So this is a lovely website called Turbo Squid. I know, very interesting name. So this website is essentially just an open source source of 3D models for professionals, as it says. You can find and upload and download models here. They can be pretty much anything you want them to be. We are going to be looking for a couple very specific file types though. And we're obviously going to be looking for free models because a lot of the models on this website do cost money. And unless you're willing to spend a whole bunch of money on them, I suggest you just find free models here. You do need to make an account in order to download things on here though. So I have already made an account earlier. Again, it's just email and password for that. And once you are in, you should be able to find any model that you want on this website. But again, we'll have to filter to find the free ones. So the way you use this website is you essentially just search for whatever you want to find. So first, let's just think about what models we want our kart racer guys to be. I've seen a lot of people do a lot of different things for this, and it all mostly looks right. When you put it into Unity, they still like behave the same way that they're supposed to. Models will spin when they spin out. Some of them, if I remember correctly, will not come with color though, which I will probably cover in a later stream, how to retexture and recolor objects that you may be importing into your game. So we are going to cover all that later, but for now, let's just search for a car, like an actual car. I've seen some kids that have done this project before. They wanted to make all the cars modeled after real cars, and I think that's a great place to start when you are modding the kart racer. So let's just search for car here. And as you can see, we get a lot of things, and they are all very expensive, like $200 worth for a bunch of car models. So in order to filter by price, you just have to go over here to this little thing that says price, click it, and then click the free button. And yeah, you can see these guys get expensive. So we definitely want to search for free cars. And there we go. So even after you filter by free, not all the cars will be free. It will still show you things by priority. So make sure that whenever you're going to download a model, make sure it says free, like this one does, this Honda Odyssey here. Very interesting. Let's just scroll a little bit, see what they have to offer. This website is fantastic for finding 3D models, and you can do quite a bit with them. You can put them into Blender if you are an art person and you want to make them be whatever you want them to be. You can manipulate the models. You can do pretty much anything you want with them if you are interested in Blender. And if you don't know, Blender is an art tool. It's like a 3D modeling tool that is generally used in tandem with Unity to make models and do fun things with. I'm not super an artist, so I'm not really super familiar with Blender, but I know that using websites like this Turbo Squid site is a great way to get started with manipulating 3D models and doing fun things with them in Blender. So if you are interested in that, we can talk about it later. But for now, let's just get a car. We need to get some sort of car that we're happy with. This Mercedes-Benz looks okay, I guess. So let's click on it. Now, like I said earlier, we need to be looking for a very specific file type in order to get this car safely into Unity. So let's scroll down a little bit. It comes with these formats thing, and it doesn't look like it comes with the file we need. Let me just check here. Yeah, it definitely doesn't look like it. And it gives you all this information. If you understand all that, you can read it. But it doesn't look like you can see in formats here. It would say what format we're looking for. So let me just say, the file formats we're looking for are .fbx or .obj. If we don't see that, then we unfortunately cannot successfully get this car into the game. So let's try this one. I think this one will probably be good. Yeah, here it is. So you can download this as an OBG or OBJ or an FBX, which is exactly what we're looking for. those are just the formats that work best with Unity. And like I said, this car may not look exactly like it does here when we actually import it, but that's okay. We just need the model in the game working. So let's go to download it. Now I've already downloaded another car here just to show you a couple different formats of it. So we are going to get, does it say show all? There we go. So we need to make sure that the thing that we get is an FBX or an OBJ. As you can see, we have two versions of it, but they are in a RAR format. So we're going to have to unzip it. If you guys aren't familiar with RAR files or just zips in general, you need programs, usually something like 7-zip or WinRAR, in order to unpack them and actually get an object that you put in your game. I believe I have 7-zip already, so that shouldn't be a problem. I recommend 7-zip very highly. So let's just get the FBX going. Let's click on here. It should start downloading, and then in a separate window, I'm going to open 7-zip and just extract it. You unfortunately cannot extract RAR files with the Windows built-in extractor tool that you can usually use with zip files. So just keep that in mind. I'm going to quickly do this kind of off screen because I don't want to have to share the whole thing. Let us go to computer. C drive. Why is this not showing up in my folder? One quick second here, guys. I'm just trying to find my downloads folder, and for some reason it is not showing up in my thing. Well, that's fine. Let's just go with the car that we already have. One quick second as well. I'm just gonna Yeah, so I definitely cannot unzip it without 7-zip, and for some reason my downloads folder is not showing up in 7-zip, which is very strange, but actually I think I know how to get it going. Yes, I do. Never mind, we're good. So let's go to downloads. What's the file called? Okay. Again, sorry, I'm just doing this all off camera. I'm just trying to get this going. So you can extract your file just to your desktop just so it's easy to find. Take 2 seconds, and all right. So now my file is unzipped and downloaded. So are we ready to go into Unity? Let's maybe just search for one more car model here just to see what else we find. And then we are going to start importing them. So let's do this Honda Legend Coupe. I don't know anything about cars. I'm very, very sorry, but we're just looking for the file. So this, as you can see, also comes in FBX/OBJ. So let's download it. And again, you can access all of your downloads here in your downloads folder. If you want to access it from anywhere, you just go up to where you're signed in and click downloads, and all of the things in your little cart will be here. So this is just a straight up zip, so I'm just going to download that as well. And this is an easy unbox. So I'm just gonna put it on my desktop. Oh, I already have this file apparently. Okay, then we are not gonna mess with it. Oh, I think I clicked on the wrong thing in general. Let's see if this works. Yes. And this downloaded right as an FBX, which also happens sometimes. That's what we want, honestly. We want the files to just be the files and not zipped, but they sometimes have to zip them or put them in a RAR file for unidentified reasons. But that's okay. So we have the FBX of both files now. So now I think I'm ready to switch over to Unity. So I'm going to stop sharing my current screen. And we will switch over to my good friend Unity in just a second here. All right, so we are back here in our friend, Mr. Kart Racer. And as you can see, I've already tried to practice by importing the car that we downloaded earlier. And as you can see, looks kind of weird without a texture. But again, we will cover that at some other point. For now, we just want this Kart Racer model to look different. So let's start. So we are here at the start line here, and we have a few different cars that we can change. We can change our car, which is all the way in the back over here. Let's change the AI car just to make them all look a little bit different. So in order to change the kart racer, or the model of your kart racer, all you have to do is click on the model. And as you can see over here in the hierarchy, it will automatically highlight it as Racer AI Medium. That's the guy that we have selected here. We're going to click this arrow here to open up a little bit more info about it. And so it will blur out everything else and just have your guy that you have selected. And so we are going to first, we have to turn off the old model. So there's this file here called visuals root, and this is where all of the other info about the actual model of the car is stored. So we have ice cream cart here, and all of this stuff falls under this. Again, that parent-child relationship that we talked about in the last stream. When you have one parent selected, it will automatically kind of select everything else and make sure that they are all going to be affected when you have this thing selected. So we need to first turn off this model, and that is as simple as clicking the little little checkbox here. And as you can see, he just kind of disappears, and that's fine. And so before we do anything else, let's actually turn it back on. And before we do anything else, we have to import the rest of the assets. So let's exit out of this mode here and start importing the assets. Now, as I showed last time, in order to get the kart racer going, you have to import the whole custom package. But for us, we just want to import one specific asset. So I'm going to go up here to where it says assets, and we're going to import a new asset. And this is how you get specific objects and models in here. So let's go to import new asset. Let's go to our desktop. And where is here we go. So here is an asset that we are importing. This may take a little bit depending on the file, but it should import just fine. And if it doesn't, we'll troubleshoot. Like I said, Unity runs a little bit weirdly on some devices. I'm running it on a laptop, and sometimes things take a bit to import. But there we go. We have a model here. The inspector is going to be very populated with a lot of stuff that we don't want to mess with now. We just want our car, which, as you can see, is right here. It's looking a bit weird, looking like it has to be rotated perhaps or scaled down, but that's okay. So now we have our asset here in our general assets folder. You can move this to whatever folder that you see fit. So for models, I suggest you move them to the art folder, or you can make your own folder of imported assets. You can move them wherever you really want to. Just make sure that you stay organized with where you import your assets. For now, I'm just going to leave them in the root assets folder. It'll just be easier for me to find them there, but you can move them as you please. And again, just make sure that everything is as organized as possible. So let's go back to our little racer guy here. We're going to, like I said, click on where it says the ice cream cart. This is the full model, and we're going to turn him off. And then we need to get the car into the game. And that's pretty much as simple as clicking and dragging the car into the game. So we can drag him pretty much anywhere. Now, he's going to go at the bottom here of the visual roots folder. I'm going to drag him up above the ice cream cart here. And now he's in the game under this visual roots folder for the AI medium character. Now we just have to move him and scale him to the right position, and that's pretty much as easy as it gets. So when you are in the visual roots like folder here, all of the positions of the racers are 0, 0, 0. It's just a convenient thing about how this game is structured. All of the all the files here are just positioned at 000. And so we need to also rotate him. Oh, that's not right. Let's maybe put him back to -90 and move him to 0. Yeah, there we go. So now he is facing forward. He is rotated properly. We can also edit the scale um, of the racer as well. This is where I do suggest you use the little box in the middle. If you guys remember when we were moving the cart around, when we were moving objects around in our game, we didn't really want to use the center button because that's very imprecise movement that moves all around the XYZ axes, and we don't really want that here. But what we do want here is we want to evenly scale the model as much as we can. So if you have the scale tool selected and you have your cart guy, you can just move this up and down to automatically like perfectly scale the model very evenly, very nice. So I think that model is pretty good as it is with how it's scaled. I think it looks pretty good to start. So we are just going to click off of him, exit the AI Racer Medium tab. Oh, he needs to be moved up a little bit, actually. He's looking a little strange. Let us have the whole thing selected again. Let's go here and let's move him up a little bit because he's a bit in the ground. So let's make sure that the position is correct. And that is one thing to mention. When you're getting models off the internet, they can have a weird scale and they can move about the space a little bit differently than the default kart racer. So, I said we moved him to 000. Well, for this model, 000 happened to be a little bit in the ground. So if you have to make adjustments in order to make sure that the kart looks like it's on the ground and everything is looking proper, then feel free to do that. You may indeed have to in order to make sure that it's looking good. So let's give a little tour of this guy. Still in the ground a tiny bit, but it's fine. It looks pretty good. I can't tell if it has a default texture or not, but that's okay. And yeah, this guy over here as well, a little bit in the ground, but we pretty much fixed it already. I like how you can also see the inside of it completely. I think the amount of detail people put into these builds is really, really cool. And yeah, so with any luck, once we press play, these models should be replaced and functional. So let's press play and prepare for the loud noise. The music in here is so loud, but I'm not gonna worry about it. Let's just wait for this to load. It'll take a bit. And yep, it is indeed working. The models are collecting the power-ups. Everything seems to be functional. Let me see if I can catch up to them so I can show them spin out, just so you can see what that looks like too, to show that like all the code and scripting that we did on the original cart is still intact. It's just the visual roots folder. There we go, got him. Yeah, so as you can see, he spins like normal. Everything looks pretty much fine. There are no animations or anything, but that is fine. We just wanted the cart to look different, but function the same. So let's pause this. My fan is going like crazy now. I'm sorry. And yeah, so that's pretty much the basics of just changing the card model. Like I said, it's not a huge thing. Just a few things to keep in mind is making sure that you do not touch anything else in the visual roots folder that will impact how it looks. Like I said, all you have to do is turn off, as you can see, this file has, this model has a lot of files in it. Don't click any of them. We just wanted to turn off the original cart, which is again as simple as clicking this box here. And then we move the car that we do want up to the top underneath the visual roots folder. And then we just make adjustments as needed. And yeah, so that's pretty much the basics of it. Let's see if we can change this last car model, though I don't know where my other file went. But let's click here we're in AI Racer Heavy. Let's actually make sure that Racer Medium is no longer showing. Racer Medium, okay. Sorry, I'm just trying to get all this other stuff to disappear. Let's turn off visual words. There we go. So now we're in here. Let's go to AI Racer Heavy. Scroll over to them. I do love the models that we have by default, but obviously we're not here for the default features. We're here to make it all our own. So let's do the same thing. Let's first click on Pirate Kart 01 and turn off that file. Let us go up to assets and import a new asset. I think this is in my downloads folder. Yeah, this is in my downloads folder. There we go. Oh, that does not look how I thought it would, but that is okay. We're just gonna drag it out anyway. Now this is a big, big folder here, or file. Looks very strange right now. Let's start by scaling her down. Now, as you can see, it's got this weird effect around it. This just happens with Unity's lighting system sometimes. Wish I could explain it, but yeah. So we're gonna move this all the way up to the top of the visual roots folder, right below it and in the folder. Let's make sure that it is selected, and then let's move it to 0, 0, 0. Like I said, this folder does not look how I want it to, and if it continues to not look right, then we will change it. So yeah, let's just see how this looks. Let's get out of this menu. Oh, it is still looking strange. So like I said, this sometimes happens with Unity's lighting system, and also with the models. So I think for the sake of this not looking completely awful, I think I'm just gonna turn this off and turn the Pirate Kart back on. So that's something to keep in mind. I have never really learned why there's like that kind of blooming light effect around your models sometimes. It can just be a little finicky when you're playing around with models on Turbo Squid. You definitely need to make sure that the models will not mess with the lighting or have like a very weird effect on your game, and that can definitely happen. So maybe we'll have to search for another model for that later, but for now we're just going to keep it hidden, and we may come back to that later. So we're just going to keep the default pirate card because, like I said, I think the detail is lovely, and we already changed a couple models to look like the real cars. And just so you know, the process is the exact same for changing your own racer. So we just have to select the racer player medium, which is the default thing, go into it, and then you have the exact same file set up here as you do with the AI racers. So if we wanted to change our cart, we just, again, turn the ice cream cart off, import the asset, move it into the hierarchy, move it to the top so it takes priority over the hidden racer, and then move it to 0, 0, 0. And that is pretty much the process of changing the racers. It's not as hard as it may seem at first, especially because Unity gives you that the whole idea of just turning off models and making sure that their values are hidden. And let me just think if there's anything else I really need to cover with this. So if anyone has any questions right now, you can feel free to ask. And yeah, it's again just a matter of finding the right models that will work with your game and its lighting system. And so this model here, the legend model, is actually a great example of not what we were looking for, because one, it was massive, and yeah, you can scale it down, but it still had that weird blooming effect on our lighting, and we didn't really want that. And also, as you can see, the model is like 50 million models. Like it's not just a car. So definitely when you're looking on Turbo Squid, make sure that you are getting what you wanted. Make sure that the whole model is exactly how you want it, and then if you download it and import it and it doesn't have color, like I said, I will try to cover that in a future stream, how you retexture things. You can do it in Blender as well if you are interested in Blender, but for now, I'm just gonna leave the really bad like white models here, and we will cover that at some other point. So yeah, that is pretty much how it looks. Let's just test it one more time. One, because this game is fun, and two, because I want to make sure everything is looking how we want it to. And I think it looks pretty good. I think the cars look pretty legit. It's looking very fun. I missed. Oh well. And yeah, welcome to my kart racer let's play. So yeah. So if you guys have any questions, now is the time to ask, because I don't really think there's much else I need to cover in this stream. I just wanted to show you guys the visual roots folder and the effects and everything, and just make sure everyone was aware of how to change the car models, because that's usually the first thing that everyone wants to do when they get their hands on this project, is make the racers their own, either by making Blender files and importing them, or by just going on a website like TurboSquid. There are probably other websites out there that give you 3D models as well, but TurboSquid is a personal favorite. 1 second. Okay. Coffee acquired. Yeah, so are there any questions? Are there any comments? Are there any concerns at all about using TurboSquid? And making sure that you get your free models. So if there's any questions, please ask. Okay, well, I'm not seeing any other questions here, so I think we are ready to wrap things up unless anyone has any last-minute comments or concerns. I, as usual, thank you guys for being here and learning with me as we all experience Unity, perhaps for the first time. And yeah, I just thank you guys for being here. Thank you for listening to me. And if there are any other concerns, you can reach out to me on Discord. I'm on the server under Jillian X Endless. And yeah, as usual, thank you guys. And I will see you all on Wednesday, where we are going to be changing the track a little bit, because this whole program has an amazing track editing system, so we can edit the track, edit the environment, and make the level completely our own. So thank you guys so much, and I hope to see you all on Wednesday. See ya.